Good afternoon. This is Mrs. Boland, and I'm helping you prepare for your first exam in college algebra. We are on problem number 20. Which says solve the quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. So first off, let's go ahead and write down what the quadratic formula looks like. It is x is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, so that is our formula, and that's a B right there, not a 6. It kind of looks like a 6. Let me take a moment to erase that because that bothers me. There we go, definite B. Okay, so our equation looks like this for problem 20. It is 2x squared minus 7x plus 1 equals 0. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that it is in the proper standard form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is the standard form right here, and you always want to make sure that your equation is in that form, because if it is not, when you pull off the coefficients, your a, b, and c, you will pull off the numbers will be correct probably, but the sign will be wrong. So the very first thing you have to do is make sure that it is in decreasing order from the second power, first power, 0 power, and then that everything is on the left-hand side of the equal sign. Okay, so now that we have done that, we want to go ahead and we want to define what is a. A is equal to the coefficient of our squared term, which is 2. And then b is the coefficient of our first degree term, which is negative 7. And then our c is 1. So what we have to do is go ahead and substitute in these values for our quadratic equation. So we're going to take all of these values right through here, and we're just going to put them in the quadratic equation. So we end up with negative b, so we have a negative, and then write down what is b. Negative 7 is what b is, plus or minus the square root of b squared, negative 7 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 1, all divided by the square root of 2 times a, which is also 2. I'm going to switch ink colors because that's a little bit hard for me to see. So negative times a negative 7 gives me a positive 7, and then I have plus or minus the square root of negative 7 squared is 49, and then I only have one negative here, so we subtract 8 minus 8, all divided by 4. Now, 49 minus 8 is going to be 41. So we end up with x is going to be equal to 7 plus or minus the square root of 41. So 7 plus or minus the square root of 41 divided by 4. And we can't reduce that any further. That is as far as we can go. And so that is our answer. Again, remember, we do have two answers because it is a plus or minus right there. Okay, so we have two answers. And that is how you solve a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. Let me know if you have questions.